Hi, this is Chatterboxing. I'm Sean. Just want to make a quick video, give my opinion on a couple of fights on the weekend. I want to talk about the Tyson Fury fight. Also, I want to talk about Crawford, Horn, and where both are, where they're all going from now. Start off with Tyson Fury. Now, it wasn't a good performance. He was well overweight, looked a bit sluggish and cumbersome. Didn't really look like his old self. But to be honest with you, that was expected from me. I mean, I didn't expect to see anything less. He was in there with an opponent with no ambition. It was obviously a complete mismatch. The first round, he didn't really do anything. He just looked kind of a bit sluggish. Wasn't really throwing many punches, just sort of messing about really more than anything else. The opponent, tried to just sort of charge in and swing a couple of punches here and there, but couldn't, realised quite early really couldn't really land anything. That went on for a little bit. The third round stepped up a little bit. The fourth round, that's when he started to look a bit. It started to get a bit interesting then, because he was throwing some quick 1-2, a couple of good uppercuts, showed some quite fast hands, and a bit of, the accuracy was better, and he started to look a bit more serious. And I think that's why the opponent quit really when he did. I think he went in there, maybe had a little bit of ambition for the first round or two, realised he couldn't really land anything. Fury started hitting him, putting it on him a little bit in that round. He just thought, I don't really need getting beaten up here. I'd rather just quit. I've got my money. No one expects me to win anyway. So that's what happened. It's a shame, really. Shame for the fans. Shame for everyone, because I would have liked to have seen where Fury could have gone from there, because that was the point when he was starting to look a little bit sharper, and he was starting to throw a few more punches, find his range a bit more. But it is what it is. I don't think it's a disastrous performance, to be honest, like a lot of people are saying. Now, he didn't look good. He looked, as I say, well overweight. He's clearly nowhere near his best, and he's not in a position to be challenging anyone serious at this point. But it's a progression. He said after the fight that he was going to go straight back into the gym. Frank Warren's going to get him on the card. Carl Frampton's undercard in Belfast in August. So if he can keep ticking over, keep in the gym, keep losing a bit of weight, go in against someone else, hopefully someone a bit bigger, a bit more ambition, get a few more rounds under his belt, then we'll move on from there. I don't expect him to look great in that one either, but I don't expect him to look great in that one either, but I do expect him to look better than he did in this one, and progress bit by bit. That's what I think they can do. So hopefully he can maintain the discipline and the focus and do that, because he's definitely not ready to jump in there with, Wilder and Joshua, forget it. But even top level British fighters at the moment, I wouldn't put him in with. I think he needs to. He's like 2.5 stone over what he was when he fought Klitschko, and he needs to get that sharpness back. Mentally as well. I mean, there was one point where it kicked off in the crowd, big punch up, and then he's watching the fight in the crowd. Now, that's probably more of an indication of how seriously he took the opponent. But still, you can't be doing that. You can't be sort of looking over into the crowd while it's kicking off. The opponent could have just taken him out then. You know what I mean? So that's something that was slightly concerning. But I do think that's more to do with how seriously he took the whole thing. So I'd like to see a steady progression, but I would like to see someone a bit more dangerous in the next fight. And if he can move on, keep losing some weight, and be active, I mean, that's the key. If he's not going to fight again for a while, then I don't really see him making that much progress. But if they can keep him active and keep progressively giving him slightly better challenges, then we'll talk from there. But it's too early to say at this point what he can get back to. I saw glimpses of it. He's got very fast hands still. He showed a little bit of good footwork. Going backwards on his feet, he didn't look great. He got kind of charged a little bit and pushed into the ropes in a kind of position that he wasn't really as comfortable as he could have been. Do you know what I mean? Normally you'd think he'd be able to get out of that better with his feet. He was able to just sort of block it, just literally grab the bloke because he was so much bigger. But yeah, he showed glimpses of some nice uppercuts, still got the hand speed, still got the skills, but physically he's way off. So we'll have to see what happens there. Let me know what you lot think about who you'd like to see him fight. I don't want to see him fight anyone good as such, because I don't think he's ready for it. But I do want to see him fight someone who's a bit of a challenge. I want to see him in a bit of a fight. Hopefully, I definitely want to see him go more rounds. And then, we'll see. Let me know what you lot think. I want to talk a little bit about Terence Crawford, Jeff Horn as well. that was an exceptional performance from Crawford. Now Jeff Horn was overmatched in there. I mean, fair play to him. He did his best. He came in. He didn't give up. He was keep coming forward, but he was just, you know, getting beaten to the punch. Crawford was just so much quicker with his hands and his feet, and you know, his shot selection. He was just picking Horn off like for the whole fight. Now Jeff Horn is obviously tough, strong, aggressive, but he was just so much slower than Crawford that it just looked pretty easy work for him in there. I mean, he's got the range. He's got good range, but those sort of counter hooks he does when you're coming in, he just whips them in, and then he can get you like long straight shots to the body. He can move out of range before Horn could do anything, and it really was a mismatch, really. So Crawford now is definitely, you know, thrown his hat into the ring. Obviously, the fight everybody wants to see is against Errol Spence. I'm not sure how long that will take to make, because obviously, you know, big fights tend to take a while, don't they? But in terms of how he would do against all the other top welterweights at the moment, they're all interesting ones, because I'd say him and Spence are the best. Thurman, I mean, I have to wait and see what he's like when he comes back, if he comes back, because Thurman is much quicker on his feet, obviously, than Jeff Horn, and he's a much faster, sharper puncher. So the way Crawford was able to just totally outclass him with his speed and athleticism, that would be a different story potentially with Thurman. Not saying I think Thurman would beat him, but I think that would be an interesting fight. If Thurman comes back and he's still what he used to be, then I'd be very interested in seeing that. I'd pick Crawford to win just based on the versatility, really. But I'd definitely like to see it. Sean Porter gives anyone a tough fight, doesn't he? I mean, Jeff Horn's obviously aggressive and he's strong, but he's nowhere near as quick as Sean Porter. Sean Porter can cover distance much quicker. He's short as well, so he kind of sort of come in under, and he's quite difficult. Now, Thurman went life and death with him. It could have really gone either way, and he was trading with him, and you know, he sort of didn't really manage to get out of the way of Sean Porter, and he wasn't really able to stop him from coming forward. Kell Brook timed him coming in and just sort of out-muscled him, really. Grabbed him physically, manhandled him a bit. I don't see Crawford being able to do that, but he is quicker on his feet than Kell Brook, and he's got very good variety to what he can do as well. Obviously, we know he can switch stances, he can come in from mad angles, he's got very, very fast hands, and he's got a very, very good boxing IQ. So I'd expect him to beat Porter as well, but I think it'd be a lot more difficult than the Jeff Horn fight, where he was just sort of, you know, he could just sort of be in and out of range and just really kind of hit and not get hit quite easily. Errol Spence, well, let's start with Danny Garcia. I think beat Danny Garcia easily, to be honest. Stylistically, I don't really see Danny Garcia being able to do anything. I think he's too slow on his feet. I think Crawford could just move in and out of range. He's got faster hands. He's too clever to get hit with the sort of traps that Danny Garcia would set. He's tough, Danny Garcia, and obviously he's skilled. I just think that he's too slow, and he doesn't really have enough strings to his bow to beat someone like Crawford. He wouldn't be able to get to him. I doubt he'd be able to catch him much. I just don't really see him doing anything. I think Crawford would beat him pretty easily on points. Don't see him stopping him. Like Thurman hit him with some fucking hard punches, and he didn't really put a dent in him at all. Fought Matisse again. I don't see him getting stopped, but I do see him getting shut out. Errol Spence is the one that I'd really like to see. Now, it's a really tough one to pick. I'd personally go for Errol Spence based on the fact that he also controls the range very, very well. He's physically very strong, very powerful, and he doesn't really give you much either. Now, Crawford's got very fast hands and he's good with his counters, but Errol Spence isn't like Jeff Horn, and he's not someone, you know, like the other people he's beat either. He's not small. I don't know. I wouldn't say it with any degree of confidence, because I could see Crawford using movement well and kind of staying out of the way to a certain extent, but Errol Spence is just quite relentless. Do you know what I mean? He reminds me of like the Roman army, like the way they used to attack with the tortoise, you know, put the shields above. They'd all put the rows of shields, and the shields on top, and just a relentless push forward, and then they basically come through with the sword through the middle, put the shields up, block it, then come through with the. Do you know what I mean? Just that relentless. He's keeping himself well covered. He's controlling the distance where he's got quick feet himself. I don't know. It's going to be difficult for Crawford to just sort of pick him off like he does with a lot of his opponents. Now, obviously, he has the ability to just fight southpaw, orthodox. So it'd be interesting. But for me, I'd give the edge to Spence. I think they're both skilled. Crawford's more versatile, but Errol Spence is very, very good at what he does. What he does is very effective. And I think just the sheer brute force advantage would be enough, really, because I don't see Crawford being able to keep him off him. So, but yeah, I'd love to see it. I mean, hopefully it can get made before too long. But I don't expect we'll be seeing it for the next couple of fights, at least. But yeah, that's all I wanted to say. So let me know what you lot think, and thank you very much for watching.